Hey everybody, LC White here for another amazing episode of The White Print. Episode number 12. We should be on episode probably number 25, but my life just has been crazy. So please forgive me. But guess what? We have another headbanger for you today. For all those people that follow the podcast, and I know y'all know I'm in church. Y'all know I'm a church boy, right? So tonight we're doing the business of church.
Wow.
Woo! It's a good one tonight, baby. And I know y'all think I look crazy. I was in a dark space today, and I had to have my flashlight on my hat, and I wanted to wear my Black Panther hat today, so I had it stuck on here. So I'm gonna keep it on. So if you want to know what this is, a light. Nothing futuristic. It just clips on like this. Clips on, clips on like that. But anyway, Dr. Long, my main man. You ready for the night, man?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely ready. Coach Wright, how you feeling, man? I know you've been busy, you've been rocking and rolling.
Man, you know what, man? I told the church on Sunday, and I told a few people, I said I'm busy, but I'm focused.
That's right.
So my whole day is focused. You know what I'm saying? I might be busy, but I'm focused. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people can't understand what I do and how I do it. It ain't for you to
Right.
understand, but I'm focused. Amen. So let's get down to it, man. Come on, man. Let's get down to it. The business of church. Business of
That's right.
church.
The business of church. We know a lot of times people kind of don't want to talk about the business side of church. They always
Yes,
think
sir.
that is sketchy, especially
Yes,
when
sir.
it comes to like tithes and offering. You
Woo.
know, when it comes to tithes and offering. But when you're talking about the business of church, um, we know that church costs. There are things like gas and electric, you know, water bill, insurance for the church. This stuff is not free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
It's not.
when you get into the business of church, what are some of the things that you must take into consideration?
Listen. The business of church. Let me help you out with that because you said a mouthful in this loaded question. You said something about tithes. You said something
Mhm.
about offers. You said a lot in that. And remember, church is a volunteer.
That's right.
You volunteer to come, you volunteer to go, you volunteer to give, and you volunteer not to give. You have an
That's right.
option. And everybody say the church is scandalous and taking people money and different things like that. Some churches do take people money, but
Right.
in 2026, it ain't that much money out there for the church. I mean, because
I
nobody's
agree.
giving, and so the business of church. And here's a strategy for pastors, and here's strategy for CEOs of churches and executive pastors and different things like that. The church has to get some business.
That's right.
Even the church have to be entrepreneurs in 2026 to make sure they can withstand. We got a war going on. We got gas prices going on. The church has to have a business to sustain itself when tithes and offerings are low. Am I
That's
making
right.
sense?
That's right.
And then so what happens is some people don't trust the church because the pastor's crooked or whatever. Listen, I work my business so I can be a blessing to my own ministry. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And in my ministry, I employ people in my ministry. Work where you worship, worship where you work. Okay.
That's
So
right.
I've given people in my church jobs. Sometimes I might, like right now, I got about six, 5 to 6 members at my church that work for me in some kind of
Hmm.
capacity. Right? So I'm building an infrastructure within my church so that way if somebody need a job at my church, if somebody need a place to live at my church, if somebody need, you know, we have resources because of business.
That's right.
In business, every church should get a business. I don't care what the business is. If y'all business is baking cookies, bake cookies. If your business is doing daycare, do daycare. Every church needs a business to hang on in there during hard times. The economy is bad. I mean, everybody praying, oh, I'm praying that God pay my bill. Well, the thing about it is the Bible said if you don't work, you don't eat.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then the Bible said a rich man leaves an inheritance for what? His family. A wise
Mm.
man, I'm sorry, a
Wise
wise
man.
man leaves an inheritance to his family. The wealth of the wicked stored up for the just. But the thing about it is, while you're waiting for everything that the promises of the word of God said, is what are you doing while you're waiting? We have to be
That's right.
building. We have to be building infrastructure for our churches. We have to be building infrastructure for our members. We have to be building certain things to keep the fabric of church together. And so, and I know you got more questions, but I want to say this in the black church, because I don't know anything else but the black church. The black church is the only place in America where somebody is not qualified to do a job, whether it's minister, missionary, deacon, elder, pastor, bishop, or whatever. You can be not qualified to do a job and have a title in the black church.
Hmm.
I don't know nothing about the white church. And so what happens is you got a lot of unqualified people tearing up the fabric of the church and not building it because they want a title. You understand what I'm saying? So more people stop looking for titles in the church and start figuring out how they can bring infrastructure and business to the church and build the church and do what the Great Commission says do, then we'll be in a better place as a church.
That's right. Now, say that a church, they are not really savvy, business savvy. They don't have a pastor or a deacon or a member who is very business savvy. Now, you said earlier in 2026 that churches should be looking to, kind of get into that business side.
Well,
So, what would be their first step in order to, try to get into business to generate revenue for the church the legal way? Not saying that you would do nothing. You know
e-
what I mean.
e- even in the business of church, the business of church have to solve three things. And if it can't
Hmm.
solve three things, then it's not, in the church factor, you got to be able to win souls,
That's
right?
right.
But if you're starting a business in the church, you have to start it with integrity, right?
Yes.
So and then you gotta work within your means. I ain't say start a car dealership. I ain't say be Mike Freeman or TD Jakes and open up a movie studio or whatever. I'm not saying that, but
Hmm.
it's so many basic values of business that the church can learn to start and to grow different aspects of the church that they don't have to take on more than they can handle. Because there's so many aspects of business that a church, especially a group of people that can do together as on one accord. You understand what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
how would you start? Well, you got to start in where you qualified. See, a lot of times pastors really not qualified to pastor, or they might be a good evangelist, but they're not a good pastor, or they might be a good teacher, but they're not a good
Hmm.
shepherd. Because see, the thing about it is, you got to be able to shepherd people even in business, right?
That's
You got to
right.
be able to lead people even in business because the finance of the church. You got to pay rent, you got to pay mortgage, you got to pay insurance, you got to pay taxes. If you're not a 501c3 and you don't have it set up right, you got to do a lot of different things. The water bills are high, the electric bills are high. You have to do so much. You might have musicians to pay, you might have cleaning supplies, you might have grass, it's so many different
Yes.
things
It's a
that you
lot.
have to do as a church, and let alone as a lot of pastors in Baltimore City. I'm using Baltimore City, DC area, whatever Philly area, the area that we're in on the East Coast. In those cities, a lot of these pastors start churches because they have a notion that God is calling them to start a church. Right?
Hmm.
Everybody that's called really ain't called because we can't have this many churches and this many pastors saying everybody's called and no
Hmm.
and producing nothing.
Right.
Right? So what happens is you have to make sure that you're not doing church for clout.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you understand you're not doing church for clout and notoriety, then I guarantee you, God will give you a vision, or God will give you the answers to your financial problems, or whatever, or put people in your path, because every pastor are not a businessman. See, the thing about it is, a lot of like I try to give. A lot of people are prideful. They won't come to me for help. Even a lot of my pastor friends, or pastors I know,
Mm-hmm.
they won't come to me for help because they prideful. Now,
Wow.
I brought my church 10 years ago for $12,000 through auction. I have
Wow.
no church note. My church seats 86 people,
Mm-hmm.
right? My church seats 86 people. It's hard to fill up a church even for 86 people in 2026 through 2016 when I started, because people are wishy-washy. People can go
Right.
anywhere. People, then you had COVID, then you had different things like that. And COVID almost destroyed the whole church because now people got lazy. They don't want to come back to church. And guess what? They're giving online, so you get $5 or whatever. You're not even witnessing the community anymore to bring more people to the church to help with finances, help with tithes and offering. We're not doing certain things as the business of church, because you have business of soul winning, then you have business of economics.
Right.
And we don't know the economics of church. We don't know the economics. We don't know how our building can make us money. We don't know how who's in the church that knows business, who's in the church knows real estate, who's in the church know this, who's in the church is a mechanic, who in the church that need help with their business, that the church can say, well, look, give us 10% of that every month.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You might have a struggling guy that don't know finances, but he's a great mechanic. So
Mm-hmm.
so now you might have a great administrator in the church that can help him administrate his business, and the church takes 10% of that every month.
Wow.
It's so many ways. It's so many ways to grow our church, and not even grow our church, but grow our finances, so that we can have the means to grow our church. So, and I know this is business, but it is business because I want to help somebody that's struggling in the church world, struggling in the business of. They're good at winning souls. They're good at preaching. There's a lot of people good at preaching, but
Right.
they ain't good at business. You know what I'm saying? So you got people. I've rented to 8 pastors at one time in my building.
Wow.
I've rented to 8 pastors at one time, and a majority of them was late on the rent. I ain't talking about nobody, but a majority of them was late on the rent,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them still owe me money from this day. But
Wow.
God's blessed me. I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing nobody, for no money. But and you're talking about $300 a month. I was doing sometimes $500 a
Mm-hmm.
month, 800. I mean, like, you know, and people, and the thing about it is, people are following people that's not good stewards of money. I'm not a good
Mm.
steward of money all the time because I jump into so many different businesses. But God has given me patience with my businesses now that I can't get into another business right now. I told you viewers this a long time ago, I can't get into another business right now. Now, what I'm doing, I'm adding to the businesses that I have to solidify some things. That's what I'm doing now.
Right.
I'm solidifying some things. I'm shoring some things up, for the future. So that way I don't have to go back. Like even the wing wagon. I went to the wing wagon today for the first time this week.
Wow.
Today Thursday. I was in there about an hour moving some things around because we're adding some new items. That's what I went in there. And I'll go in there tomorrow because it's payday. So, you know, it's set up. It's right. You got good employees. They doing what they got to do. Same with the church. Every pastor need good people in order to
That's right.
build a successful church. But luckily, I am, I got one of the greatest wives well, the greatest wife in the world. So she does a lot of, my help me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, I'm just helping you from my standpoint. I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping when I talk about business, when I talk about life, I'm helping you from my standpoint. That's the only standpoint I know. You know what I'm saying? And I've been wildly successful with my standpoint through the grace of God. Because there's no goodness of my own that I'm here today. And God has been amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. And so if we understand the business of church, we got to understand what our means are as a pastor. We can't go get a note that's 15, $2,000, and we're only taking up $300 a Sunday.
Right.
Then now you're gonna take away from your house. Now you're gonna take away from your kids. You know, you can't go to Chick-fil-A no more. You got to go get a biggie
Mm-hmm.
bag and everybody share it from Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? I've been a PK kid all my life. I've been a preacher's kid all my life. I've seen a lot of people dog
Wow.
my parents in church or whatever, and they take their finances. I said, when I become a pastor, that is not what I want to do. I don't want to take the finances from my house to take care of the church.
Mm-hmm.
So God put everything together in a puzzle for me when we got that building. You know what I'm saying? When we did certain things, we remodeled here and there. You know what I'm saying? We just did a little remodel. We did a 3-day remodel. You know, so every 2 years I do a 3-day remodel. You know, it might be a new paint job. It might be, I think every 2 years I've been doing it. So it might be a new paint job, new chairs, new chair covers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Might change the floor up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it fresh and just to let the people know that I care about the house of God. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that if you don't know the business and the economics of church and what you need to do as a pastor. And every pastor need to be sitting in the class, understanding the economics of church. Because if you don't know the economics of church, you don't know the economics of your household. How can you know the economics of
Mm.
the house God entrusted you with?
That's right.
You know, and a lot of people are only getting by because somebody has been a blessing to them. They're not getting by because they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're not getting by because they know what they're doing. They're getting by because of the blessings of the Lord through somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because
Gotcha.
ain't nobody in the black community writing $5,000 checks to the church. Nobody,
Mm.
unless you one of the bigger churches, right?
Right.
Where you have a status. They looking at you crazy if you don't. You know what I'm saying? One of the bigger
Mm-hmm.
mega churches in our area. You know what I'm saying? Where they got sound crews, they got dancers, they got this, they got that, they got sound men. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
know the they know the business of church because remember they was in existence before social media came out, and it was a different era.
Right.
So
Wow. Now, when you talk about the business of church, what is the advantages of being having a 501c3 in place
well,
with your
well,
church?
in perfect example for our church, we have 501c3. So whatever we do, like I went to Home Depot, we don't pay any taxes on what we use for the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then also we don't have to pay personal property taxes on the building,
Right. Oh wow.
the donations are
Mm-hmm.
taxes are tax deductible. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different advantages, but you have to be set up right. And if you're not set up right, you don't know the advantages, right? Because a lot of people don't have a building. A lot of people don't have a 501c3. A church shouldn't be an LLC.
I
That's a
agree.
limited liability company. And then every pastor should have pastoral insurance. Just different things. I got to make sure I check on mine. Check on the things that we have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that we have to do to make sure that we are protected as a church. Because somebody said, "Oh, the pastor told me to jump off the bridge, and God was gonna
Mm.
catch me." They coming after me. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm sure whatever, however, you know, the church is in a vulnerable state because it's so easy sometimes. Look what the Catholic priests and all these lawsuits going on,
Mm-hmm.
and they happened
Wow.
years ago. But guess what? People still coming after that money. They could be 40, 50, 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, what's the safeguards in place? You know what I'm saying? The business of church. What is the
Yeah.
safeguard against your pastor? What is the safeguard against your church? Do we have these safeguards in place?
Mm.
Because a lot of people in the black church have a title and think that brings clout. Because for me, I'm already somebody on the street before I was a pastor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need clout from the church. You know what I'm saying? I want to be sincere about my relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't want I don't have to have clout in the church. God just did what he did for me because he chose me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't running for it. And I thank God that he chose me. I'm not, I'm not I'm blessed. God chose me. I don't dot every I and cross every T. I ask God to forgive me just like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, even in that, we have to make sure at the end of the day that we know the business and the economics of church before we, because we leading people.
That's right.
I I know, I know, I know 5, 6 churches that's been in 10 different locations within 5, 6 years.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Wow.
is that stewardship on the pastor's part? Think about it.
No, not really.
We following people. We following. We following people that ain't stable.
Mhm.
This the real deal, bro.
I agree.
We following pastors that ain't stable because they can preach. There's a lot of pastors that can preach, but they not stable economically or steward or being a steward. Why? Listen, I've been broke before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I've been in financial woes before. Everybody had, right?
Right.
Everybody had. But the thing about it is, if you know that you were in financial ruins, why become a pastor and take these people down the cliff with you?
Mm.
That's we're talking about the business of the church.
That's
If
right.
you man, so I'm not gonna get into a jam with a big church note, right?
Right.
I'm not gonna get into a jam. I'm not trying to prove that I can buy a big cathedral. Case in point, I own another church, right?
Hmm.
That can seat 300 people if I jam them in there. That's fine. If I can jam them in there, right?
Hmm.
But I don't. But I use that church to make money. I'm not moving my church. I'm not moving my people to that church because
Right.
economically we're not there to pay me rent, right?
Right.
So why am I being this big old church that can seat 300 or maybe one? Yeah, well, I might can feel. I probably can, but that's not the point. That church makes me money means to do ministry at the church I'm in.
Right.
So why? You know what I'm saying? But economically, why would you shoot for? We gonna shoot for the stars. Just shoot for the clouds until you teach stewardship and people understanding what tithes and offering really means. Two separate things. And now you got people like Clifford Dollar saying, "Oh, I was wrong about tithes, whatever." Well, how in the world is the church going to survive without tithes and offering? It's a violent. It's volunteer work.
That's
If
right.
people are not freely giving to see the work of the church go on, then the church have to. That's why the Catholic Church was so rich because they did bingo, discos, cabarets, weddings, parties in their hall
Hmm.
for years, and they still doing it. The priest just got nasty and messed everything up. They
Right.
couldn't keep that. They couldn't keep their hands to themselves off the little boys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They had the biggest schools, the biggest dowries, the big. I mean, just money. People give. People give. Now you got tons of. I wrote down Fulton Avenue. You got a big Catholic church. See 1,500 people, empty.
Oh yeah, I know
Wilkins
which one you talking.
Wilkins Avenue, with a school and a parish, empty.
Empty.
And everybody's saying, "Oh, We can do so much ministry there. You can't do no ministry there if you don't have no money. You just be put. You
What?
you know what gas and electric is in a building like that?
Phew. Oh, 3 grand a month. Easy.
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 We have to be wise within our means to understand. If you don't understand means, I'm gonna go on this one, and I probably didn't offended somebody I know. Which, hey, it is what it is, right? Uh, I just want to be able to help people. You know what I'm saying? This is what
That's
this
right.
podcast is about: is to help people. Everybody can't afford a mega church. Ev- Look, Facebook makes people look bigger than what they are, right?
Right.
Instagram, TikTok now make people look bigger than what they are. But you know what I pride myself in? Everything you see on my TikTok, everything you see on my Instagram, everything you see on my YouTube, everything you see on my Facebook, all four of those is real life stuff.
That's
Ain't no
right.
extra, ain't no fluff. So somebody said, "Do you know business?" Yes, I know business. Somebody say, "You know stewardship?" Yes, I know stewardship. My wife is a better steward than I am. My sister is an amazing steward. Everybody has gifts.
That's right.
Everybody not good with money. God gave me a gift to get money. God gave me a gift to do business. God gave me a gift to do
Uh-huh.
ministry. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna go on this one because I got to tell you about this word I found out about. Even when it comes down to musicians, right? I'm a musician. I can play the bass a little bit, drums a little bit, keyboard. Really, I can play for somebody's church today or tomorrow and they can pay me some money for keyboard play, right? But I've learned different skills to be a utility pastor.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So if my musician don't come Sunday, I can play. If the janitor don't come on Saturday, I can clean.
Hmm.
If the grass man don't come on Saturday, I can cut grass. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I have I'm a utility pastor, and everybody got to learn utility
That's right.
to understand the business of church. Because when somebody don't show up, you don't have the money to get them there. You got to be a utility person, and that's going to help you understand the business of church too. Understanding different roles and understanding because everybody, man, you see these young boys out here now preaching, man, and they got somebody following behind them, putting their Bible up there, which is cool. You know, I got a armor bearer. I'm just getting used to it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody following behind me because
Right.
I'm just a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, hey, man, I'm whatever, right? But I love the Lord. I'm just real. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people ain't real with themselves. And what happens is they take church and make it a mess instead of really soul searching before they become pastors and saying, can I lead people in every area of their life?
That's right.
Family, family, finances, and faith. Whew. Family, finances, and faith. Can I lead these people? Is my family in line? Is my faith in line? Is my finances in line?
Hmm.
Good God Almighty, I just helped somebody.
Yeah, that
Remember,
that
it
was a
has to
word
serve
right
three
there.
purposes.
That's right.
But I want to say this one word, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you got some food just delivered. Listen, I just found out what this word grifting means. You ever heard of grifting?
Grifting. No, I've never
Grifting.
heard
So not gifting, but grifting. GR.
grifting.
Grifting. Grifting is people that are lying about what they can do and who they are.
Oh wow.
So they say they can teach you this. They say that if you take my class, if you come to my church in 30 days, you're going to get a miracle.
Hmm.
Me and you have the same access that TD Jakes has to God.
That's right.
TD Jakes just got put on. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
A lot of the big boy preachers ain't saying nothing, don't know more business than I do. They just got put on. But I'm not trying to get put on by a mega preacher to be put on and be in a circuit. I'd rather do my circuit on what I've earned in business. And then when
Mhm.
I'm preaching to the people that God share, I ain't preaching to nobody that don't go to my church unless I go out to preach or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
shepherding like people on the street. You supposed to be a pastor. I'm not your pastor. You understand what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
can't pastor everybody. I'm only pastoring the people that comes on Sunday that call me pastor.
Mhm.
That's it. I'm not pastoring nobody that don't come under the tent. We can't take on everybody's. And when we take on everybody, guess what? The business of church is gonna go, whoo.
Wow.
I'm gone. Great episode tonight, man. I know I talked a lot.
Now you dropped a
And
lot of nuggets. Dropped a lot of nuggets tonight. Now it may be some leaders or some pastors who, want to learn the business of church. They've heard some stuff that kind of resonated in their spirit. Like, you know what? I need to learn that. My church is struggling in this area. Maybe I need to reach out to Coach White. How can they get in contact with you?
they can go to my website, lcwhiteinvest.com or lcwhiteinvest@gmail.com. Send me an email, go on my website, fill out the form, and I'll gladly be help you. I mean, I just love what I do, man. I love helping people, man. I like I said, man, I gave, I give people churches months free. And I hope they appreciate me, you know.
Right.
But I don't have to get pat on the back from them. They know I know. You know what I'm saying? People ain't stupid, you know. I'm so real.
Wow.
I'm so real, man. I ain't gonna never not be real.
That's
I
right.
gotta say one more thing. I gotta say one more thing. We our conference, our big conference is coming up in June. And I was somebody called me the other day and said, well, it was a mix up last year. I'm talking about business. It was a mix up last year, and
Uh-huh.
it wasn't no mix up. I didn't even ask the person to come because I didn't pay them. I paid somebody else that was just as good and just as qualified. But some reason, sometimes we will put our foot in our mouth and think we can't think so highly of ourselves.
Uh-huh.
We have to stay humble as people of God that's working in the church. We have to stay humble. This guy was telling me, oh, yeah, I can for this price. You know what I said to him? I said, I am taking volunteers that see what God is doing in my life, that see what God is taking us. We're taking volunteers to build this thing, right?
That's right.
And then so we can build it, because I'm not paying out a whole lot of money. This conference is going to be amazing. And I'm doing it on the strength of volunteers because guess what? I tell people all the time, it's not about money because I got so much to offer people more than money.
Right.
And they have to pick this up. So now the people that I'm using, I'm gonna offer them so much more than money. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna put them in a different place in their mindset and their thinking more than money can. Because once I give them $150 or something like that, they're gonna spend that on a cell phone bill. But if
Yep.
I give them knowledge on the things I've succeeded at, on the things I failed in, if I give them knowledge, what does the Bible say about knowledge? It says so much. But people
That's
perish,
for the lack
right?
of it. That's right.
For the lack of it. Man of God, we gotta quit this thing, man.
Man, it was an amazing episode on tonight. This was episode 12 of the White Print Podcast, The Business of Church. And we'll
The
see
business
y'all
of church.
next week. Holla at your
Same channel.
boys.
Peace.